Hello.
Hello.
Say hi. So my last video had really good traction with the public, thanks to everybody's shares and comments and likes. They really do help spread the awareness that we're trying to spread for Addy. The questions, there's a lot. There's a lot of, what does it take to be a donor? How did this happen? Where are we going to go from here? And what's to come? How is she adapting? So I just wanted to address probably the main one that I've gotten of what does it take to be a donor for a kidney transplant. They printed off, Children's Mercy printed off their slideshow for us, so I was just going to go through it and touch on some points to answer our questions as Addy's parents. So these are things that I can point out to people, and you know, in case that anybody runs into something like this in their life, or the ones that are wanting to do the kidney transplant for Addy, be her donor. So people ask often, why is she on so many medicines? You know, people think kidneys, I know me, I thought kidneys, you know, made me pee. And of course, when you pee, you get toxins out. But kidneys do so much more than just help you pee. So kidneys clean your blood, which is what I figured with the toxins. So her potassium, her phosphorus, any of the toxins to get out of her body. They help control her blood pressure. Addy is on 2 different blood pressure medications twice a day. And then we have an emergency medicine in case we can't get her blood pressure to come down. Even with the medications, Addy's blood pressure is still that of an adult. We aim for 120/80 when Addy's normal blood pressure should be about 90/60, 90/70 as a toddler. So even though we do have those medications, it's still not where it needs to be. Helps make red blood cells. In my last video, I stated that her hemoglobin has been down, and it's because her kidneys aren't making the red blood cells. Each treatment, she gets a dose of iron, and then we give her vitamin D throughout the week, and we're actually introducing new iron foods for her to help that process as well. An update on that, last week her iron was at 6.1, and this week it was at 6.7, right? So that was really good. It increased. Normal hemoglobin is 10 to 13, so we're still on our way there. Kidneys also help keep your bones healthy. Your bones have a parathyroid hormone that Addy is also being monitored for, because the higher that is, the worse her bones are. So they are also giving her a medication called calcitrol to help with that. They help you grow. While unfortunately Addy did contract HUS and it shut her kidneys down, she was 2.5 years old and on the bigger side and taller side already, so she isn't suffering from any growth loss right now. Another reason why we want to get the transplant done sooner rather than later, to ensure that she doesn't run into those growth stunts. And then also it controls how much fluid stays in your body and how much leaves. So Addy doesn't have that kidney function to help with the fluid, so while she's going through dialysis, it pulls the fluid off of her to get her back down to her dry weight. And her body cannot, while she is still peeing, it's definitely not as much, and it's not getting all the fluid off of her. So she can gain anywhere from 1 pound to 2 pounds throughout the week of fluid just because she can't pee it out. The blood type is huge. Addy's blood type is A positive, so she can take A or O, not A positive. So we thought since Alex's blood type was A negative, he couldn't be a donor, but they don't worry about the RH factor when it comes to transplants. So since she's A, all that needs to happen is she needs to find an A donor or an O donor, because O is universal. So that was pretty cool information. There's 2 different types of donations that you can have. It's a living donor or a deceased donor, and there's different qualifications for each of them. So a living donor, they have stated, is usually related, but also can be unrelated. So while Alex and I are going through the donor process, we also have a friend from church willing to go through it, and she's actually further along than we are. So far, so good. They do want to do a psych eval on her because they don't, I guess, understand sometimes when people that don't know other people want to donate a kidney. And there's many reasons for that. So, no explanation needed. If somebody wants to donate a kidney, they have to go through a lot of testing. With a living donor, you also have to be 18 to 55 years old. You have to be
Children's Mercy.
At Children's Mercy. So this isn't for all across the United States. This is just Kansas City Children's Mercy and KU Medical. KU Medical is where the donor would get the transplant or the kidney out, and then the surgeon would get it from KU across the street and bring it back to Children's Mercy. So they work hand in hand. So their rules are the same for both hospitals. And then of course you have to be willing to donate one of the kidneys. So deceased donors are people who have died and are organ donors. The donor's kidneys are checked to make sure they're healthy. And then you'll be on a waiting list until a donor kidney is available. So Addy is on the list to receive a kidney, but she is inactive due to immunizations. She's not active right now, but she is still gaining time, thankfully, in case we don't find a match within Alex, myself, or our friend from church. I've had a few other people reach out and say that they're wanting to be donors. Hopefully, you guys can watch this and see if any of this information applies to you or automatically knocks you out of being applicable. As you can tell, there's lots of information that goes along with this. Some of the key points for being a donor: healthy adults, 18 years of age and older, normal renal function, which is kidney function, in both native kidneys as appropriate for age, gender, and size. Acceptable renal vascular anatomy on imaging studies, which is explaining why we get the CT scan done so they can look at everything. And then emotional and socio-psychological stability, which is where the psych eval comes in. So exclusion criteria: diagnosis of diabetes. So if you have diabetes, they are not going to allow you to donate a kidney. If you have high blood pressure that is uncontrolled or a history of high blood pressure with evidence of end-stage organ damage, you will not be able to donate either. Presence of acute symptomatic infection includes presence of confirmed reactive HIV testing. In certain instances, active infections controlled by treatment may be allowed. So that's just something that you're going to have to actually go through the process to see if they're going to allow you to donate. Active malignancy, excluding some skin cancers. The history of malignancy is evaluated on an individual basis. If your BMI is above 35, they will not let you donate. I know we have a friend that has reached out and started the questionnaire process, and she was over the BMI limit with, I guess they've told her that she's higher in weight than they'd like, but they're still going to continue the process because losing weight is not a hard thing to do if you're focused, and I know she's driven enough to actually get through the weight loss if that's what it takes. Mentally incapable of making an informed decision, so that's another thing the psych eval will depend on. Active untreated drug or alcohol abuse, uncontrolled diagnosable psychiatric conditions requiring treatment before donation, including evidence of suicidality. I know in every questionnaire we've taken, I believe they've asked if we've ever had thoughts of suicide or hurting ourselves in that nature. So if that is something you struggle with, don't lie on the questionnaire. Just be truthful. This isn't worth your life if it does have a negative side effect. High suspicion of donor coercion. So basically, if you have somebody willing to pay you to be a donor or forcing you with blackmail to be a donor, and they suspect that through the psych eval, you will not be able to donate. High suspicion of illegal financial exchange between donor and recipient, so getting paid to donate a kidney. Unwillingness to accept blood transfusion if needed. They've asked in the questionnaire as well if we're willing to get a blood transfusion if need be, and that's just in case we lose blood during that transplant. We have to say that we would take a blood transfusion. If you're currently in jail, you are not able to donate, and then undocumented persons are not allowed to donate. You may not be able to donate if the following are present: current or history of kidney stones. Our friend that is further along in the process does have kidney stones, but they are allowing her to continue with the process due to her feeling like the kidney stones were something that she caused herself with what she was drinking, some sugary energy drinks. So she's made it thus far. So I think it is case by case basis with the kidney stones. So it says you may not be able to donate if your BMI is from 30 to 35. Like I said, they are working with another friend with the weight that they see that is above the limit of the BMI. Elevated glucose or evidence of glucose intolerance. Multiple elevated blood pressures readings during donor evaluation process. Kansas University Medical will send you a blood pressure machine, and you will have to document an AM and a PM blood pressure reading and then send that back to them. We sent ours through mail and it took a week and 2 days. The friend from church that is ahead of us in the process emailed back the results, which we didn't know you could do, and she received the go-ahead that afternoon. So that is one of the reasons why we are behind her in the process now. Persistent blood and urine, you won't be able to, more than likely. Persistent protein in urine, which is something where I'm about to be in the process where I provide a urine sample, so they are going to use that to test if I have any protein in my urine. And then current nicotine use of any form. I don't know, that is a may not be able to. That is not a definite no. While of course we want our daughter to get the best kidney available, they are going to make that decision for us because they are the experts. And, if the person uses nicotine, and I know within 30 days of the transplant, you're not able to smoke or use any type of nicotine to flush the kidney out, but there's more information on that I can't speak on because I am not the expert. I'm just going off what Children's Mercy has told me. Our main goal is to make sure that people are aware. I know we were not aware, we were not informed like we are now. It took our daughter going through a life-threatening sickness for us to get the education and the knowledge, and we've been paying attention and we've kept everything. We've been taking notes to make sure that we are doing the best we can for our daughter because she can't speak up for herself. She can't advocate for herself, so it's our job. And if this reaches the right person and you have being led to donate, it doesn't have to be to Addy. You can donate a kidney for somebody that's been on the registry for years. With Addy being so young, she is higher on the list as a child. But as you reach the adult years, people are on dialysis for years. I mean, some of the Facebook groups I'm in, some of the people are on dialysis for 10 plus years until they receive a kidney because adults aren't as high on the list. So if you feel called or you want to donate a kidney, it doesn't have to be to Addy. It can be to anyone that needs it, and there's so many people that need it. And Addy's time is being backdated until 15 December when she started dialysis, chronic dialysis. So we're certain she will receive a kidney. Of course, we want to be the ones to give it to her and ensure that she has, a kidney from her parents. They say if you stay within the family, it really does benefit the child, since kidneys only last 15 to 20 years after the transplant, which I didn't catch that information. Alex was the one that informed me of that because I thought that it lasted forever, but it doesn't. Hopefully by the time that rolls around, the medication and the practices have evolved, and Addy will get to keep the same kidney forever. Lots of information on that as well if you'd like to do the research.
She said I'm probably not going to be a donor because I'm tall and my kidney's going to be too big, so I'm contemplating donating mine anyway to somebody who needs it. This is no fun, and for people to be able to get back to a normal life and not have to be hooked up to a machine 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 7 times a week, so that they can enjoy life.
Alex stated he might not be able to donate to Addy people have asked about the adult to kid kidney, like how does that work? So your kidney is about as big as your fist, and they're willing to accept up to a 12 centimeter kidney for Addy, but they'd like to stay below 10. And they stated since Alex is 6'1", that his kidney is probably going to be too large for her. But if by the grace of God he can donate to her, the 20 years that kidney will last will keep me in the range to be able to donate to her for the next time. So I'll be 53, 54 by that time, and I'll be able to give her one of my kidneys at that time. And then that'll take her to her mid-40s. And then, you know, Hayden, her sister, has already stepped up and said that she would give her kidney at that point. That's it. We're done. Can you say bye, Addy?
Bye.
Can you say bye? Say bye. And this is the kid that needs a kidney. You'd never be able to tell.